What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at a few other things. Currently in a trade right now on the ES Mini, or the micros. I took a trade on the ES Minis earlier. It was a winner. We're up $150 on the day. Scalped a couple trades here on the micros and dropped right back down into the red as we're chopping around in this mess right here. But the reason for the sell-off is because the yields broke out yesterday. Let's go take a look at the 30-year yields so you can see what's going on over there. This is causing an issue for the markets. There's a couple things going on here. Either you can see capital rotations, so essentially people like the yields. Anything in this area, people are going to want to essentially capture that yield because it has been years since the 30-year has been up at these levels. You can see here, you are literally breaking out of a long-term range going all the way back to 2023. So prices up here are very interesting, to say the least, as people like the idea of keeping 5.31% on an annual basis. So you'll probably see slight rotations out of risk into this as these things are breaking out. And another thing, what's the Fed going to do now? Because as we all know, the market here, let me pull this up. The market was pricing in earlier in the year that, you know, they were probably going to pause or cut, and then it started to flip, become more hawkish as the 2-year yield has been rallying for the last 5 or 6 months. So that is forcing the hand to potentially have to hike interest rates to get the Fed fund rate, which is currently setting at 350, up near where the 2-year yields are trading. So now you can see for this next Fed rate decision, which is in September, this is August, today's the 18th of August. So this is a whole month away still. And see, there's a 65% chance that they'll do nothing here, but the long end of the yield curve is breaking out. So could see some volatility. We are, I should say, seeing some volatility. As if you look top left, this is the S&P 500 VIX. It's a volatility index. You are gapping up again today, as you gapped up yesterday. So essentially today you're gapping up well above last week's open and also last week's high. So volatility is elevating. Volatility is elevating, and we're seeing the S&P 500 pull back for yesterday and now today. So a couple of days of pullback here. Trading into support. So this is a key level on the SPOOs. If you break under 77, it could be a pretty sizable move to the downside. We'll see if the sellers are strong enough to break this thing down today or not. Will the buyers step up? We'll see. Tech is pulling back because of the yields. That's causing the S&P 500 to pull back. Other than that, there isn't any massive news out. Oil up today after having a nice up day yesterday. So it appears as if though there's a little bit of risk out there. But the interesting thing about all of this, which has kind of thrown me for a loop this week, Bitcoin is rallying. As Bitcoin volatility down yesterday, even today. That's crazy. Crazy sauce. Well, Bitcoin's been kind of doing its own thing for a while now, but we'll see what Bitcoin wants to do today. I like it higher, but the sellers are the aggressors today. You can see where the sellers were yesterday. Big volume up here around 64.5. If you're a seller, I imagine you're watching yesterday's high for entries or today's high. It's your choice. If you're a buyer, what I would want to see is I would not want to see Bitcoin start trending under 63.9. 63.9. This is the area right here where if you're a long on Bitcoin, you want to see price hold. This is where we want support to be. It can come in higher, doesn't matter. We just do not want to see a breakdown below 63.9 and then downside continuation, or else probably going to see a larger move to the downside. With volatility on the lows like this, we are expecting a large move in either direction. And we are currently positioned to capture a volatility spike when it comes to Bitcoin. Like I said, I am kind of more leaning to the downside here today as yields are breaking out, vol is gapping up. So I only want to be looking for sell trades. Yesterday, I was more of a bull than a bear. Even though yields were breaking out, I kind of thought that yields would pull back. As you can see, last week on the SPOOs, we were massively overbought on the 4-hour RSI. I don't like buying when you're that overbought. Now you can see you have the reverse side of that coin flipped. So do I necessarily want to be a seller here? Not really. Not really. Just basically trying to make a little bit of money on a daily basis. So sometimes my bias doesn't fit what the charts are saying. Down here like this would be a buy. If the yields weren't breaking out, I would only be looking for longs on the SPOOs today. With this is a nice pullback after a nice rally. A lot of people think that rally was nothing more than a liquidity grab, get retail nice and long and off sides right before they dump the market. But here's the thing. That's what they think every time there's a rally. So chances are, I mean, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. We have not come into that end yet as the SPY and NASDAQ just continue to rally. But anyways, yeah, I don't love the idea of selling oversold volatility. We'll see what happens today. We'll see what happens. You want to come along for the ride and watch? That's fine too. We are positioned in every market. We trade almost every market. I have open positions in Forex. I have open options trades going. I have open shares where I own stock. We trade crypto. I have open positions in a crypto market. We're literally trading anything and everything. If you have something you want me to look at later on when the trading has subdued, I will take a look at those charts for you. Just drop it down in the chat. Hopefully everybody's feeling great this week. It's Tuesday. It's the beginning of the week. Is the S&P setting the weekly low? I guess we shall see. All right, so I have near-term 4-hour support setting at 77.2650. It'll be very interesting to see if that 15-minute bullish engulfing candle holds here. Well, it's not a bullish engulfing as it didn't take out the prior low, but you can see here the last 3 15-minute candles showed significant upside or downside pressure with those wicks to the upside. This candle closed right here. I jumped on a scalp, nailing this move here. And then ultimately I didn't take profits and that candle stopped me out. So I'm jumping back on it again here, anticipating that we are going to drop under this low here, head back into the 4-hour open, and then your 4-hour lows setting right here. So this will be the low of day down here if the SPOOs can't break down into this territory. So we'll see what happens, but big wicks up there makes me want to be a seller at the top of the range. Here, literally, if you look at this 4-hour wick right here, if I bring this line up here for just a split second to borrow it so I can show you what transpired up here. So you come up, set the high, boom, right there. Then you backed off of that high, setting in this trading range. And then a big candle right back up there, liquidating that high, and then instantly right back down. So really choppy here. A lot of stuff taking place at that 4-hour high, right back up into it for a third time, also setting a higher high. And then there's where that pressure comes back. So heavy selling at 77.38, guys. All right. So that's going to be the major level for price to break above today. If you break above 77.38 on the SPY or the SPOOs, 38, break above that, you could see a rally extend all the way back up to 46 and beyond. Beyond to 71. Like I said, big level of resistance here. If you break out above that, the sky is the limit. That's going to be your day open for this daily range. So big resistance setting down near the bottom of the daily candle. So this is, you know, if the buyers are setting down here, they should have no problems getting an upside expansion today, at least revisiting the open, because of all of the sell side pressure that is setting so low in the range. I would probably flip my bias and look to scalp long if that level breaks. All right, that's where you got. That's what you got right now on the SPOOs. We've already looked at Bitcoin levels. Bitcoin levels 63.9. That's the big level for the buyers to hold. And then obviously yesterday the sellers are setting up there. Big sell side pressure on with the POC setting up there. We saw Ethereum's tried to break out. This is a longer term, large range, if you will, as price is just getting more and more compressed. Volatility is literally signaling a breakout soon. Still seeing light volumes. This thing is potentially going to see a move pretty damn soon. It can be in both directions though, so could be very tricky to get positioned to catch that volatility. We are setting in longs. I think we bought this candle right here. I'll show you those positions. Currently, here is that ETH long. All right, so right here is where we took that long as it was trading back down into the 4-hour 200 exponential. We thought that, you know, potentially price would hold there as support. When we got yesterday's nice breakout to the upside, it was very exciting, but then it didn't take long, which has been the norm for the last several months. You start to see a move and then it peters out. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. Got a nice breakout and then you petered out. And then that gives the sellers time to come right back in and knock it back down. So now you kind of have this scenario where, you know, with this big red candle, it looks more like a sell. Current structure, though, still says up. Your 21 exponential moving average is still above the 200. But, I mean, you're not seeing much outside of that. There isn't a whole lot of signal out there. Funding rates are currently paying the sellers on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So generally, that creates this scenario where you have two-sided trade happening. But we're also setting in a Bitcoin long and a Bitcoin short on the futures side. Longer term, you can see these trades here. Short up there, long from this wick here. So, yeah. And then if you look at what's going on here, here are the two positions. This original position was up nicely. We took profits on it as we took this trade during an FOMC meeting, scalped out some profits, took our profits, moved our stops up a little bit. Since I've been sitting in this trade, I've literally paid almost $160 in fees just to set in a long. Now that's not much. I get it. It's not a lot of money, but that just goes to show you, like, for long-term position holders, if you're a buyer, you're getting torn up. You're not getting breakouts and you're paying fees. But yeah, because we took profits, we're good. That's why we have a realized gain still, but a few more days, that realized gain will be gone and we'll start realizing losses. And then you look to the other side where I'm short. If I pull this up, you can see I've actually made $74 of profits just by setting in a short. Price isn't doing anything, but I'm making money. That definitely influences large account holders, large positions, big money. They factor in these things. And it doesn't look like we're going to see the funding rate flip anytime soon. Right here is your annualized funding fees chart to kind of show you. Oh, never mind. We did get a nice drop here. So what would be perfect for Bitcoin is if this funding rate drops into negative territory, as that would shift the order flow around. Instead of the sellers being the ones that's making all the money, the buyers start being the ones making the money. That's when you see demand come back into Bitcoin. So keep an eye on this chart. This chart is extremely important. The last time we got into seriously negative funding fees on Bitcoin, that was a chef's kiss opportunity to get long. And we pointed that out here in this community. And obviously we did take that long. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I do like that. I do like that. Big drop yesterday. Beautiful. All right, let's go back over here to the S&P. This position is still holding pretty good. I'm probably going to take one contract off down here, 77.26. Let's just go down to 27 and drop a contract. We want to buy one down there. See if we can get filled on that. It's exactly what I did earlier, and it did not get down there. We're currently 3 contracts short, so we can take... Oh, we don't want to take all 3 off. Ooh. We just want 1. We want to take profits as price breaks down, if it does, in fact, break down. Which, with yields breaking out currently, I think it probably does. But I have been wrong before, many times. Nice fill. Retesting the 4-hour open. Low of day. Next downside target. Put the target higher than the low, just in case you don't get down there. 16.25 is the low. So I'd put it at 17.50. A full point and a tick. 1.1 tick higher. I'm still sitting in Euro pound shorts, USD Swissy longs, and Euro dollar shorts filled yesterday. We took short on Euro dollar yesterday. Those trades are all still working. I missed the USD JPY long. I only want to be long on USD JPY. So every time it pulls back, I want to be a buyer. Let's go look at that real fast. So here's your daily chart. Every time you get under prior day lows, you should be a buyer. Or at least I should be a buyer. You shouldn't do anything. I should be a buyer. Every single time that happens. And I missed it down here. I actually got it. I just got stopped out. But yeah, this probably going higher unless the Fed hikes or cuts. I mean, and if they hike, it's going higher. Hiking is strong. It's bullish pressure on the dollar. But if they cut, that would be dollar weakness. Or if the BOJ hikes, if neither one of them do anything, the macro has not changed. Therefore, this goes right back up. Yields not only breaking out, trending now. The last time you saw a 30-year yield this expensive, June the 11th, 2007. And because of that, everybody's bearish. This signal is not my favorite place to be a seller, but we'll see what happens. All right, now starting to see a little bit of support come in here at 4-hour support. Buying aggression. This is why I wanted to shed profits into this level. We're going to drop this down so we don't lose any money on this trade. Did they cancel it? No, it's right there. So there's where I'm short. There's my take profit. Because it wouldn't take very long for it to get back up here. This is a big level of support. And like I said, you're pretty oversold. They have already liquidated these swing lows. So there really is no point for price to go back down there unless today is real weakness. So if you're under this, then you can see that, yeah, it is weak. Or you can at least say that. But if it can't get back down there, it looks like the buyers are taking over. You kind of have an opportunity here if you wanted to be a buyer. I don't really want to be a buyer because the yields are breaking out and that's too much uncertainty. All right, let's go look at gold real fast because gold is on everybody's watch list right now. Yesterday had a nice move, closed above resistance. Today looks like it's setting that as a bullish trap, pushing lower on the daily range. Could this be because of dollar strength? Could be. It's not really that strong. You liquidated a double bottom down here and bounced. This is where the dollar needs to break down in order to be a trend, or in order to break the current uptrend. The dollar is trending up on the year 2026. Let's do year to date. There's your yearly open. You are up. And then you have a trend right here. That's what you're playing with. So yesterday's price action, as it liquidated these lows, we got short the euro, which is getting long the dollar. Because we anticipate that the dollar is going back to 110 and then beyond. You've already taken out yesterday's high, so that's going to be resistance number uno. We've got to see the dollar get above this. If it fails to do so and comes back down, gonna eat a stop. So I'd love to see the dollar maybe just get to 99.59 this morning and then stop going lower, up. So you could potentially look for a trade there. and take that on the euro or the USD JPY or pound, dollar. It to the sellers, this looks like a failure. And then we just ate a stop. We're long one contract. We got to get that off. Lots of volatility here now that the bell has rang. I still want to be a seller, so I do want to look for the short. If it fails at 77.38, that's the major resistance for it to break out above. Market just opened 2 minutes ago, so let us give it about 5 minutes to settle down. Probably shouldn't have moved that stop down. Let's see what that swing is. 18, 34. Not bad. I mean, it's a 15-point swing. Nasty. Bitcoin pushing down into those prior lows. We'll jump on the ES here if it gives us a chance again. All right, Bitcoin pushing down into the lows. The level for Bitcoin to defend 63.90 or 63.900. It's a swing low right there. You also have your monthly VWAP, the VWAP of August. So I would love to see this area act as support. If you lose it because you haven't spent much time trading above it, it's going to smell like a rejection. That's going to make the sellers be very happy. Did it get back down there? It did not. If you're just joining us, this yellow line is 4-hour support. This is the level that the S&P needs to hold for the buyers. You are oversold on the 4-hour time frame here, but because the yields are breaking out, we could see more downside today. So we're looking to sniff out which side of the market that the S&P wants to take. You've liquidated huge swing lows in this range. So if the buyers are going to show up, they would do so here. But you can see that. So that's what we're currently watching. And right back up she goes. So 26.19. So it's about a 5-point spread. I'm going to try to get long at 26.50. I want to get long 3 contracts with a stop here. 19. Ooh, can't do that with 3 contracts. Well, I'll just do this. If we close under this candle, then I'll just bail. Period. Looks like the sellers are willing to short right here. That's nuts, man. Notice the volume build up right in here. Big volumes. 31s. If it gets above 31, the volume lightens up. It's kind of risky to sell 26 and stop at 31. Since it's so volatile, let's just do 2 contracts and we'll do that. And then that'll be the last trade in this. We'll start looking for options positions. So we'll sell 26.50. Maybe. I don't like selling an oversold market. Bastard. Bitcoin is currently holding support. Do we buy 26.50 now? Definitely looks like it wants to hold. That's going to be your SPY high. 77, what is it? 730 or something. SpaceX still chopping in the range. That's good for me, as I'm short calls and puts. Yeah, you're most definitely trying to set the weekly low right now on the SPY. Typically, we are buyers in these areas. Because the 30-year yield is breaking out, it kind of has me iffy about being a buyer. But the technical setup is always a buy. If you ignore the news and ignore every other market, if you're smoking a prior week low in an uptrend and you have an oversold near term, you're buying that. Or at a bare minimum, like selling calls. I mean puts, not calls. Puts. You're selling puts. So we could do that. Like, we could take that trade. We'd short, like... Let's go see what the premiums got on it. The premiums are so low right now because IV is low. Volatility is low. Let's go see what the 3 days look like. It's 769. Literally right here. We could do these. Maybe something like this. Not much premium on that. Because, like I said, IV is freaking a nothing burger. I would rather trade the spot market. There's just not enough premium on there, and it requires way too much margin $14,000 to potentially make 150. No, thank you. That's not terrible, but it's still not great either. I'd rather be long the spot futures contract for a couple days. Big resistance is here, though. So you just made a higher New York session, and so far, no go. Bitcoin rallying off of support. Buyers trying to show up. Sellers are still the aggressors. I imagine they're shorting right there. ETH is a lot more difficult. I mean, not really. You would want to see support hold at 1892 if you have a bullish bias. You don't want to see a 4-hour close under 1892. Holding the monthly VWAP. Monthly range slightly up as the lows all month have been higher lows. So kind of feels like the buyers are defending, but you're also making lower highs. Very, very range bound price action. S&P right back down. So the selling is legit here today. Try it one more time, or I really hate that. That's right where the buyers are. What are you doing? So dumb. I should have waited for at least a close under. All right, let's see. We're gonna get that close under. Your opening range breakout is going to be 735, and then obviously the low 18. So that's where your opening range breakout traders are going to be looking for entries. And then the 15-minute chart looks like this, a big fat doji. Buyers stepping in. was literally the dumbest thing I've done in at least 20 minutes. I did some pretty dumb things yesterday too. Yesterday was a losing day on the NQ. It was a winning day overall, but the NQ I definitely lost money on. We're going to close a really good trade today. It's going to cover all the losses. And like I said, I made 150 on the ES minis. So we kind of had a little bit. 162 over there on the E minis. And the smaller accounts will be over here on the micros. Taking a beating there. I haven't traded the NQ at all. The NQ is just too crazy. Too choppy. I mean, this point swing on the MNQ from 632 up to 770, that's over 100-point swing. Still feeling like the sellers want to take this thing over. Literally just wicked me out of the short. You'll have that on them big jobs. Big ass range here. For opening range break traders. And that's not even the low of day. That's what's so bad. I mean, the low of day is all the way down here at 16. Morning. Feels like everybody is waiting for something and would love some clear signs. Well, I mean, the clear sign is up, right? The clear sign is the markets are bullish. I mean, you might be talking about Bitcoin. I agree. Bitcoin is very, very delta neutral right now. Has been for 6 months. We've literally been trading in this range since February. Well, maybe not. I mean, yeah, this range that we're in still since February, because there's your Feb lows. Yeah, very delta neutral. Looks like it has a lot more downside pressure on the high time frames. But when you look at it on the weekly, that selling pressure just isn't there under $61,000. There just isn't any sellers willing to sell under 60,000. Yet. We'll see if they ultimately do start. But up until now, they've been backing off down there. I have delayed data on the yields over here, but we can look at the TLT as if it's continuing lower, then yields are running hot. And that's not what's going on. So you currently did gap down, but you're trading back up in yesterday's range on the TLT. So if the TLT is under 81.31, that means you're trending on the 30-year yield. I would anticipate that would probably get this thing to break down. It is a key support zone for buyers. So you're in price discovery. This is an opportunity for longs. These are the areas that you would be looking for longs here. But definitely make sure you're putting stops out, just in case. We're not liquidating. Well, we did already. So that's, let me see how that looks. Yeah. Yeah. You're in, as long as you're under 39, you are trending lower. So heavy sellers up there. Big choppy range here. Buyers are trying to defend 26. This is why price is so choppy right here. There goes some selling pressure. It's just not aggressive selling. Bitcoin's still chopping around. Still chopping around above support. It seems like this thing would have dropped off a cliff already if it wanted to go lower. If there was really like fear selling taking place, we would already be making fresh day lows and heading lower. Chopping around like this is it's price discovery and feels a little bit more bullish to me than bearish. Going in on 30 minutes now, and you still have not broken the opening range. You're still a doji. This is your opening range. Been following since the early COVID days. I appreciate your support, my friend. I'm just trying to help people, that's all. Let's go take a look at that BE position as it's looking nice and pretty, almost up to 50% profits. I sold this for a max profit of $2,000 about last week, like Thursday of last week. I just sold out of the money, puts and calls naked. And so far, excuse me, volatility has dropped off pretty good. It was above 120, the IV was. That's what prompted me to take that position, as I knew there wasn't much in the way of news in terms of what was scheduled. They had already reported earnings. All that was out of the way. It just seemed like the perfect opportunity, and it was. It's working out nicely. TLT still not heading lower, but this is going to be bullish probably. But those sellers are getting more aggressive. They are coming down. If you break 718, you're probably almost guaranteed to get 1620 as well. We'll mark that. Purple. Now, if I get filled here, I'm going to defend at 21.50. I should be able to afford that 5 points on 2 contracts. That's if I get a fill. Target would be 10 points, so 36.50, and drop that 1.1 tick lower. 35.25. Literally right here. Doesn't look like it's going to come back and get me. I had to wait for that pop. I did try to get filled there, and I realized it wasn't going to come down there and get me once this candle closed up above the prior candle's high. So then I was just watching these numbers to see where the next big numbers started to go, like 26, 30, 35, 50, you know what I mean? Showing me that people were trying to get filled there. And then once that spike occurred above 26.50, that's the original level that I was looking for longs. And that'll be the last trade. Bitcoin is literally looking good up there. It is back to green on the 4-hour. So support is holding just like we would have wanted to see. But these spikes can still be faded. You definitely want to start seeing higher highs if you're a bull. Not over yet. But that's where I would have wanted to see them pick up. Even starting to see support hold on ETH. See if they can get any continuation. The one thing they haven't been able to do. Very choppy here still, man. It fell just shy of filling me. See these numbers? There we go. Stop 21.50. Right back under. Price discovery blows. Just when it looked like the buyers were going to rip it up to 35. Now you have an opening range and another range inside of the opening range. It's just price compression at the fullest extent. This is aggressive selling. They're willing to sell an overbought market. I mean, an oversold market. That's pretty aggressive. The reason I like the upside is as long as TLT is heading up, I guess. I mean, if they're going to make the argument that it's the yields causing the sell-off, then if the yields pull back, it seems like the buyers would step up at last week's low, right? I guess we'll find out. We're probably about to resolve this range in a minute or 10. Dollar heading lower. So that should be, I mean, the dollar hasn't really been affecting the S&P lately, so it really doesn't matter what the dollar's doing, but dollar has broken down below where dollar bulls want to see support hold. That's not good. You also got to close under, so it's kind of not great for the longs. So you got price discovery literally going on all over the place this morning. Even Bitcoin has not resolved. Well, it has resolved its opening range. You're higher. And then in terms of scheduled high event risk, the only thing we had today was building permits and housing starts. Tomorrow is weak also. You have the minutes, but no conference, no press conference. Nothing's going to happen here. This is going to be a non-event. But that's at 2 o'clock, so 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow if you're trading. Remember that you do have FOMC minutes. And then nothing on Friday at all in the US. So very weak news in terms of Jesus, man. We're 40 minutes into this open. Now the sellers have it, it looks like. Or this is the final stop run. Boom. All right, whatever. Go take a look over here. BE, we've hit that 50% profit target region. So we're going to close that trade out today. These are the strikes at which I'm short. I could hypothetically hold it, because if Bloom Energy doesn't break down today below support, like if it just tags this support and stops going lower or closes back above 211, then I could literally hold it for the next resistance test. And that would just pull off more premium. So we'll leave it on until we either A, know for sure that it's going to break down and retest the 200, or what. But generally speaking, I want to hold these things until either I reach max loss or I want 75% of the profits. Because this one was so big, I was willing to cut it loose at 50%. It's a nice win right there. Beautiful. We put on GDX. So yesterday I closed 50 shares of gold I had 100, or GLD. I had 100 shares long of GLD. I closed 50. And then instead of buying GDX yesterday, because I want gold to pull back, if gold will pull back, I'm going to buy more shares, but I'm going to buy shares in GDX. If gold can stop going lower than 41.75, this is where I want to see that ultimate low tick. I don't even want to see it get down there, to be honest with you. I would rather see the buyers show up at like 42.50. If they could do that, that would be great. You got the 50-week moving average exponential setting at 42.30. That's where you want support to be. But I was willing to buy as low as 41.75, because at that point you're going to look like this is a failed breakout. So it will be it'd be hard to make the case to be a buyer down there then. Once you lose the yearly opening range, it's being above the yearly opening range that makes this bullish. It is up on the year, right? So as long as it can stay up on the year, I want to be a buyer. So the way I've been doing that is I've been selling puts, been making money until I can fill those positions. But we took a put sell on GDX yesterday, 32 days out. It's naked because we're willing to get filled there. And let's go look at GDX. So we're short the 87 strike put. We go look at the weekly range here. You can see 87 is under last week's high. I mean low. Damn it, brain. Catch up. I mean mouth. It's under the low. So if I can get filled there, that would be great. As long as we don't see downside continuation, then I'll be setting in a loss. But that's all right, as I'm going to mitigate that risk at 77.50. At that point, I have to bail, because then we've lost support. At that point, you will no longer be testing support. You will literally be a swing high failure. So I don't want to hold it long any longer. But we'll see. I mean, that obviously there's a lot of time that's going to take place. So if you aren't in gold longs yet, don't fret. You will get an opportunity, most likely. People stress the markets way more than they should. These things take time. A lot of time to work out. Now obviously the more weeks that you go on without taking out that low, then it starts to look more and more like those buyers are being aggressive, and then you might have to take a position higher than 87. Hence the reason why I'm selling puts, because if I don't get filled, that's fine. I'll take the money. And I'll just continue doing that as I accumulate weekly funds trying to get it, build a position in gold. So we are working on gold. I also have this IBIT bullish trade open. I just sold some premium down here, put on a put spread to help pay for the long call. Max risk on this trade is $75. That's all I can lose. So I've already reached max loss on it. There's no reason to close it at this point. I can't lose it. The only thing that can happen at this point is this can go up. So that's a good place to be. And we didn't really find much to do yesterday. We did run some scanners. We'll run them again here in a little bit. But first and foremost, we got to pay attention to Bloom Energy. See if that thing is wanting to break down. RCL and AXP. These are both things that we're looking at right now to see if support holds. Yesterday, AXP broke below support. So we were interested to see what happens today with it. If it gets back above, yesterday's high, not just the moving average. For me, I need to see a breach and close back above 343.03. If that happens, I'm going to sell 330 strike puts. If they have that strike. Actually, I might do 333s. That's if it closes back above 343. Let's go see what they got over here. This is what we were looking at yesterday. But yesterday I didn't like it. So there's 330s. That gets me under the 200-day exponential. So yeah, that's fine. I'd rather do a spread to kind of knock down that buying power effect. But I just don't think it's going to be worth it. Yeah. That's a $10 wide spread. But still, there's plenty of premium on that. And it knocked that down by a lot. From 5,000 down to 850. That's good. Almost 6,000 to 859. Not bad. So that's what we'll do if American Express can close back above 342. As this looks like a constructive pattern to me. And then if we look at this thing on a 5-year trend, just like an average, right? Get an average baseline. Is this trending higher in the last 5 years? Or is it range bound, or is it down? Well, it's up. It's up massively. It's up by 100%. So yeah, it is trending up. It's wedging, clearly, but at least you're getting in, at least it's working in higher lows. So that's all we can do, right? We can't predict what it's going to do, but it is building in support. It is making higher lows. You do have support under you. You are an uptrend. So we want to sell puts. We want to sell puts. And we'll give it one more day. What was the other one that's on watch? RCL, Royal Caribbean. On a 5-week average, is it up? It is. It's up nicely. Is it? It's not really. It hasn't been trending in the last 2 years. And you did make a lower low here. So far, this is a lower high. So I guess you could make the argument more for the sell side on this. But you still have your weekly averages down here to act as support. So yesterday you broke and closed under support. We need it back above support. Once we get that, same thing. If we can close above 305.06, that would be kind of like that first little, at least the buyers are defending, right? And then we could jump down to 297s. And there's plenty of premium on those. Also requires us a lot of buying power. So let's see what we do if we sell a $10 wide strike. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's a 50% return on the money that you're, risking. You're risking 675 to make 325. That's nice. I'll take that all day long. Now all we need is the signal. The signal will be a close above 305. So let's make an alert there. We can't do it yet because as of right now, you have a breakdown and it's trending lower because you made a lower low today. So you're at this point trending. We need the proof that the buyers are here. So a bullish engulfing would go a long ways into proving that to me. And then if it don't work, at least we did everything we could as traders, right? That's all we can do. We analyzed it. It was good. It looked good, felt good. We did it. And we just can do that over and over and over again. And we make money. It's fantastic process. We love it. All right. What else? Those are shares. MSTR, we're going to need Bitcoin to break out. We discussed this trade pretty much in depth. We're looking for a vol spike on Bitcoin. If we get a volatility spike, if we get a big breakout move, then this put or this call should pay us. We'll see what happens there. So we still can't do anything on AXP or RCL. What is CDNS? Oh yeah, this is just one we looked at the other day, but I don't like it any longer. This is a clean trend in terms of, you know, looking at it in the last 5 years, but it has pretty violent swings. So it is a very violent, aggressive mover. You can see where the clear defined support is. It's 320.07. If at any point you start closing candles under that, daily candles, you have a breakdown, therefore not a trade. You've already lost the 50 last week. This week you're working on continuation. Yesterday, I wanted to close back above 326. We did not get it. Bam. So it looks like the sellers are about to take over on this. Is this a short? No, because it's at support. It's right at support. So I can't take the short on it either. I could short it at like 344 if it shows resistance, but not down here. It's just like what happened yesterday. That could end up happening on the up move. So we need proof. Once again, at least some kind of evidence. And volumes are light still. So a breakout on high volume would be a really good sign to be a put seller on this. So this one is getting more and more unliked. I'll leave it on the watch list for a couple more days, but if we start trading under 320 with closes, I'm bailing on this idea. Biddy going? Yep, it's going. It's going. Nice. Is the spoos going? Probably. But not after chopping me up. Yeah, it didn't even make a fresh day low. This is as choppy as it can be. Stay out of this thing. My argument would be more for the upside based on the oversold metrics you have right now, and because this thing is clearly in an uptrend. It is not in a downtrend. It's in an uptrend. You want to buy weekly swing lows in uptrends when you get those intraday signals. The intraday signal was to be a buyer, but you have that uncertainty in the terms of, you know, the 30-year breaking out. So you could have made the argument to be a bear today if you got a breakdown and continuation. You didn't get that. Instead, you stopped out those early New York session buyers, and now you're rallying. Freaking dick. Choppy mess. It's in price discovery. But yeah, Bitcoin looking real good here now. Looking real good. Man, I hope today ends up closing looking like yesterday. That would be great if you could get a daily close back above that 50-month exponential, because everybody knows that's the resistance. That's the resistance. So Bitcoin must start trending at some point above that. The fact that you haven't broken down yet already is a good sign. Now, it's the true test will be at July's high, though. It's not going to be, that's just where the main resistance is because of that average. If you look back at the last bear market, in August, you smoked July's high at the 50. Then you saw a push lower and downside continuation. So if this is going to repeat, right, if you're going to get a repeat of that, then that will be the price to identify. So essentially, if you're closing daily candles above 66.9, then you can't be a seller, because at that point you have a breakout and potential continuation. The next level is Michael Saylor's cost basis. There's a big, gigantic birth here of prices that Bitcoin could revisit. That is, of course, if it can get above this. Oh, we'll see what happens, but looking real good right now. You're at weekly res here. Last week's high setting at 65,341 spot 83. Come on, Biddy. Let's go. You can do it. You can do it. I can feel it. It's in the air. Just kidding. We'll see, though. It looks really nice. Let's go see what Ethereum is doing. Nice. Nice. Now we're in the money on Ethereum. Now we're in the money on Ethereum. Woot woot. Like it. I like it a lot. And if it can continue, here's the breakout. So let's effing go. Let's go, baby. Yes, you got this. 1906, now the price to defend for the buyers. 1906. We definitely do not want to see Ethereum fall back under 1906. If it can reclaim or if it can hold that, we're going to be good. This VWAP is going to start sloping to the upside, and that will bring in more demand, hopefully. Now, obviously, the sellers are going to be defending as well. So they're going to try to come down and get on these lower highs. And hopefully they end up helping propel price higher as their stops get smoked. We'll see, though. Still got a lot of work to do. And this could just be the first move. Remember, when vol starts spiking, you can get big moves in both directions. So you can get a big move up, liquidate everybody, and then dump. That's what we don't want to see. But because volatility on Bitcoin is on the lows, you're literally on the lows here. If I pull this out on a monthly, you can see you're in all these wicks. That's not great. I would rather see prices at all-time highs when volatility is on the lows like this, not on the lows. So this big spike could get faded, then see a vol spike, and as Bitcoin could dump. So it's nice today if you're scalping it. You can take profits and all that, but in the next coming weeks will be fun. We're positioned for the vol break. We're positioned for the spike on vol. So we have both sides of the market cornered here. Whenever volatility gets low like this, you can be a premium buyer. That's the best time. Same goes for SPY. Like when the VIX is super low, that's when you want to buy puts, right? Because you can get them much cheaper. That way, if you get a vol spike, those puts pay nicely. So we'll see what happens. But I would love to see Bitcoin get an upside breakout with upside continuation. Same with Ethereum. But I am positioned just in case all this is a fake out. It could be buyers sniffing out the Fed money printer coming back online soon. I can't make the argument that they would do that. It doesn't make sense to me that they would start, cutting interest rates right now. But I think their backs are against the wall, that they have to. They're going to have to potentially inject liquidity. If I was a seller on Bitcoin, would I be putting a sell position on here? I don't know that I would in this spike. But if it does slow down and begin to build in resistance, I probably would. Based on where volatility is. I also need to keep my eyes peeled because at some point my short will get stopped out. So my short is at entry price 65,668. So just up in here is when I'll be stopped out of the short. The short will be a profitable trade, even if I get stopped out, because I've made $72 already on it just from funding fees. And my stop loss is set at 60. So it'll be net a winning trade. But I will be looking to put that back on. If the funding rate falls to negative, I would maybe leave it alone, but it would have to be negative. Because too often do we see here lately Bitcoin get a nice move and then peter out. Now, I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet, but it's in the air. Everybody's willing. Everybody's ready for a big move on this. Everybody. Let me see here. Where is STRC? What's it doing? Looks good. It's above 90. We're golden on that. We have longs on this at 87. I think 87. $87.37. So we're long at $87.37. We got 13 days and we're going to get our first dividend. It's not that. I don't have that big of a position on it because it's so volatile. Back over here. Trade table. Let's go see what BITB. I know it doesn't have weeklies, but I wanted to see the open interest. Not that big compared to IBIT. IBIT is a much more liquid asset. You see the open interest here? You're in the multiple thousands. But the problem with this is the premiums are so low. The at the monies, the call side is more expensive right now. That suggests call buyers are more aggressive. There just isn't enough premium on these weeklies to really get excited about. 38.50. I wish there was, I mean, MicroStrategy is that thing where you can get a lot of premiums because the options are expensive on it. But I guess if you're looking to sell, I mean, with vol this low volatility, you're going to get a volatility spike soon. I mean, even the weekly is firing a volatility spike or a signal to look, to position for a volatility spike. So right now would not be a good time. I mean, the IV is still up there. Juicy premiums on this thing. We could probably put a position on that would pay for that volatility spike trade that we put on for $300 the other day. We could get some of that back, probably 105. So that would be the 106s. We did something like that. We're just 10 days out. Yeah, we could literally get all of that $300 back if vol doesn't break out in the next 10 days. And then that trade would, in a sense, be free. About $20. That's a risky play, though. Let's do it. Since it's only using $1,600 of buying power. The reason it's only using $1,600 of buying power is because we're already long. We're already long 31 days out. We're long the 125s and the 75s. So it's a covered. Let's do it. ahead and cover that up. Make that trade free. If it works out, obviously. Tesla, what are you doing lately? Tesla, what you doing, my friend? You still sideways? It's still sideways. It got into gap fill. Big gap here. Then it dropped right out of there. I'm just trying to, you know, get as many days as I can here. It's an iron condor, $5 wide. We put that on for $1.30. Not bad. And it is currently barely doing anything. We put it on kind of far out, so we'll see where we are in about 3 to 5 days. We're at max loss on the UNH. We got 3 days to expiration. Our short put is right at the money. So we're not completely done on this one yet. If we get a bounce here, which today we've got a higher low. It hasn't taken out yesterday's high yet. But if it does, we might be safe on this. I like what I'm seeing. Higher low so far is good. But we need a higher high now. If we can get that higher high, I'll feel more confident about this trade. 3 days to expiration. So we just need it to be right here. It's fine. This one might end up turning into a winner. UPS is up. That's a long-term insurance play. SpaceX just selling premiums every week on this thing. Premiums are juicy, baby, juicy. SpaceX is fun. I like trading it because it's got juicy premiums. Major resistance here at 150. It's the IPO. It held as support for literally like 1, 2, 3, 4. I would even call that 5, 6, 7, 8 days before you finally broke below it and then seen a trending move. So far, we've been testing it for 4 days, really 2, because these 2 days didn't come close enough to count those as resistance tests. But still, that's the resistance. So I'm short up there. $150. $150. So naturally, a break above 150 is going to be bad for that trade. 3 days to expiration. We're freaking good, man. We are good. Right there is your expected move. Remember, if you look at this as what it really is, right? It's a probability curve. A bell curve, if you will. We know that price stays inside of that bell curve. Oh, my pen is wrong. I have to fix that. So I can't use my pen. 68% of the time, being out here on this stuff, That's good. This rarely happens. This rarely happens. It does occasionally. So you just need to make sure that you don't ever let this happen to your P&L. Ever. You always want to be either in the 68 or in here. And then as long as you don't let the tail end of the risk get you, your account will grow. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So we look good on that. Anything can happen, though. Anything can happen. SpaceX could absolutely break above 150 by Friday. Today's just Tuesday. You did slightly make a higher weekly high. 149.60 was last week's high. Nope, it's the exact same. 149.60. 149. Oh, no, it ain't. 149.80. Okay. So you did make a higher high by 20 cents. So you liquidated last week's high. And as of now, you're starting to pull back. So that's kind of a good sign. If it gets under the weekly open, we'll be in a beautiful place, because the next 2 days it would probably spend testing 134s or even worse, 130s. 130 is where we're short. So we're in a really good spot here. Really good spot. I'll put on a very similar trade to this next week. So far, so good. SpaceX has been a really good trade. I love it. And I'm not seeing anything else here. All right, let's go run a scan. The scanner I'm running is free. Anybody can use it. It's on FinViz. It's free. I'm just running a very simple scan to show me bullish stuff for the 200-day simple moving average. Price crossed what? Price is above. I can't read all of it. I'm assuming it's that one. But we just want price above the 200. We want the 200 under the 50. And then we want price below the 20, because we want to buy pullbacks, right? We want bullish assets and we want to buy pullbacks. So AEP, let's pull up over here on this chart instead. AEP. We traded this one the other day. On a 5-year basis, is it trending higher? Yep, it is. It's pulling back to the 50-day, where it's experiencing a nice bounce. I'm sorry, that was the 50-week. The 50-week, apologies. We tested the 200-day and so far have bounced. So essentially, we don't want to see it get back under 124.57. We can sell puts, or we already have a position on. Never mind. But this trade's about to close. You know what? Let's go ahead and close this one. I didn't even see this thing. We're already in it. And we're at 75% of max profit. We go ahead and close that. See if they'll fill us there. Probably not. Let's give them a dollar. We'll give the market makers a dollar back. See if they'll fill it. Yeah, I figured. They're greedy, those market makers. This doesn't have weeklies. Damn it. I don't know if I want to go all the way out to 30 days. Let's see. 125. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the exact same trade, just going out further in time. The 200 day is at 125. You can do this however you want to do it. You'd sell it naked and then take the shares if you want. I mean, it is trending up. It is a 200 buy. It worked out here. You would have got filled on 100 shares at 99.70. That ended up working out for you. It didn't work out for a while, but ultimately it did start working out. Here, it not so much, right? It didn't work, and it would have felt shitty setting in a loss, but ultimately, bam, it bounced. Now, one thing that I don't like about this is it's kind of like a double top structure with a liquidation and then an immediate sell-off. That kind of seems like this thing might be done for a while, or it may just stay in this range. So I'm going to sell the 125s. And to knock that buying power effect down a little bit, I'll just sell it with spread. This basically makes sure that we can't lose too much money on it. Let's do that. It's a 1 to 4. A 20% return on 25% return on your money. That's not bad. We'll send that one off. Back to the scanner. Now AEP's not even on it. All right. Only 3 of them. JEF. I've never even heard of that. You dummy. JEF. Yeah, no weeklies. So I don't want to get in too many positions that don't have weeklies. I'd still look at the options just in case. And not much premium there. Okay, never mind. Let's change the parameters a little bit. All right. This is what's stopping it. Back over here. There we go. We've got more here. That's another energy company. So energy companies are doing good right now. But that energy company is not going to have weeklies, probably. Honeywell. They have weeklies. They have good premiums, and the spreads are a little bit wider than I like usually. I like 40-cent wide spreads. These on the puts, a little bit more than 50 in some cases, and in some cases right where I like it. Not much liquidity on these. Let's go look at the chart. It is right on its 5-year. Very choppy, man. It's in price discovery. This thing could be getting ready to either break down or start on a nice little move up. I don't know much about them. I'm pretty sure there was a big YouTube debacle not too long ago with some creators using this company as a shill link. I think there were a couple big YouTube videos about how Honeywell was screwing over their YouTube creators, not paying them or something. I think. I don't want to say it was this company because I don't know for sure, and I don't want to get sued, but let's see what this thing, it looks good. I mean, if it can hold support, right? I like it. If it can hold the 50-week, I like it higher. It looks like it's trying to stay in price discovery at support, right at its 5-year average. So this would be the definition of a pullback, but it's been pulling back to this price for a while. And then they did a split not too long ago, but it wasn't a big split. It was just a half. Let's see here. The daily is under the 200, so I don't like that. Let's just put this on watch and give it a couple days. If it can reclaim 230.15, we'll look for long positions. We'll look to sell like the 225s. Plenty of premium there. But still need a little bit of time. Couple days to see if it can resolve in a bullish manner from this level. All right, that's Honeywell. I don't know any of these companies. Yeti I know, but I've never traded it, so I don't know what the option chain looks like. I was just looking at Yeti cups yesterday and dog bowls. I was like, what in the hell what do you need a Yeti bowl for? And then I saw a doggy footprint. Then it made sense. It's a water bowl for dogs. All right. It's not bad, but that's a month out. They don't have weeklies. Anyway, let's go look at the chart. Because this is a larger account, so we can buy shares too. We don't have to do options. We can do whatever we want. The 5-year chart looks bad. This thing is not looking good lately. So I'm not sure what's happened, but this company used to print money. Could you argue that it's in a long-term accumulation area? Yeah, you could. You could make that argument. And it's finally starting to make higher lows. But It's not something I want to invest in. They don't pay a dividend either. I mean, if it can hold, there's too much momentum on the downside right now. We'll just leave it alone for a couple of weeks. This is going to need at least 3, 4, or 5 weeks to prove it can hold support at these levels. It most likely will, right? Every time it's been here, what, 40, in between $40 and $42, it's held. That time you got all the way down to 35, but ultimately it held and it rallied slightly. Big resistance on this at $55. Big resistance. We could just wait for that, right? Wait for a breakout and then start trading it, because then it will have more momentum on an upside break, yada yada. Right now it's in price discovery. It is not range, it's not trending. There's not enough premium to just go out there and sell the 55s and then the 40s, right? What, 35s? Yeah, there's nothing down there. Literally nothing. That would be the trade to make if there was more premium. All right, so that's it on those scans. Do you guys have anything that you want me to look at? Anything that you think is a good trade? And it doesn't matter the strategy. Whatever strategy, I don't care. Name it. We'll pull it up. Time is at 11 o'clock. Okay, let me go back over to the spoos real fast, see what it's doing. Still struggling to find support. That's not a good sign. Remember, this is last week's low. So the more time you spend under it, the more ballsy that'll make sellers. And TLT is not the 20 or not the 30 year, and it's the 30 year that's breaking out. The TLT is kind of not trending to the downside yet. It doesn't have much further to go. Well, I guess it does. To be fair, that's a long ways on this asset. It's kind of an aggressive pop, but I mean, it's just it's a sell, right? You'd be a seller. Yeah, I could argue that this would be a short. I'm not gonna take it, but on a fresh breakdown, I wouldn't be buying it. That's for damn sure. Yeah, this is a fresh breakdown. Dude, I tell you one thing, the politicians have literally ruined this company. This government, this country. And it was the pandemic that did it. Because that's clearly when this stopped trending up. This used to be such a sure investment. Going back all the way to 2002. Any dip, you bought it. If it dipped, you bought it. Since 2020, You can't pay people to buy this thing. Jeez, bro. The politician that will at least come out and say they'll wipe off the 5 years worth of damage, or 6 years now worth of damage that the last 3 administrations has done to the bond market, would probably win. A lot of people are invested in this. My stepfather lost his life savings in 2020. He was worth multi-millions of dollars. Because this bond market got destroyed. The TLT didn't, but he wasn't invested in the TLT specifically. Because this is only down like 50%. He lost 75% of his money. So, yeah, they've destroyed it. They need to fix it. But anyways, fresh highs on the bond market or the yield market if you're not aware. You haven't seen these kind of yields since 2007. That's big news. That's huge news. And you're breaking out. You're breaking out. So right now, like I said, on the bond market, the TLT, that looks like a short. Could it hold and then get back down? Of course it could. Of course it could. But why would it? I mean, has anything changed? No? Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I would be a buyer on this chart, wouldn't you? Like on pullbacks, wouldn't you buy it? That has been the trend lately. I definitely wouldn't want to be a seller. Could you sell it and get a move like that? Maybe. So that might happen up here. I guess watch the breakout point. But that's the 30-year. 20-year, is it breaking out? Also, not yet. And the 10-year also hasn't broken out yet either. The 20 years got some work to do. 10 years got a lot of work to do. I think we're in bad shape if that starts happening. But the 2 year is what the Fed's watching right now. This pullback right here is probably going to be a buying up. And you can trade this. It's ZT. There it is, the 2 year. Let's check the options table on this. Let me see that again. Here. There's nothing on that. Why does that require so much buying power? You would have to literally freaking sell 30,000 of those contracts. 103.61. $62.50, $93.75, 140.63. Very slow moving asset, obviously, but yeah, it's very tradable. You can also trade the spot market. Anyways, yeah, we'll see what happens. Not good. Not good. TLT options are very liquid. That's probably the best place to go. But the TLT's on the lows. I keep clicking the wrong thing. I wouldn't want to sell calls on the TLT right now. I would wait for, a multi-day, multi-week move up, then sell calls. And I definitely don't want to be a put seller on a fresh breakdown. Let's just see if we wanted to sell, oh, shit. Let's see if we wanted to sell, this week. There's nothing there. Next week. There's nothing there. Very, very small premiums. You'd have to go out, 50 days to find anything worth doing on this. I don't know. Mr. Bitty Bit, what are you doing? You're supposed to be breaking out and trending higher, dude. You're not supposed to be falling. Why isn't Bitcoin breaking out? Even Ethereum has pulled back slightly. But it's right at where we said we wanted to see it hold. Whew. It gave back half of it. This is where we want to see support hold on ETH. So far, so good. So far, so good. Doesn't look too bad. Check out OC for potential watch list longs. Good morning, long time no see. Yeah. Welcome back. OC. Let's see what OC is. OC, long-term longs. 5-year. Looks good. Can't go to 10 years. But, I mean, it's a good-looking chart. I agree. Owens Corning. Never heard of them. Obviously, the weekly just it reclaimed a lot of stuff. It definitely needed to do that. Obviously, I wish it was closer to the weekly 50 or the daily 50 or something and not way up here. Could it hold the 21 day? Yeah, it could. Yeah, it looks really good. Longer term, like you said, long term, it does look good. Is it a really good setup for a trade right now, with options? No, not yet. It's pulling back. We should have been interested in it in here, right? Or in here. Or even in here for the sell side. That trade didn't work out. But now that it's reclaimed the 200 and got a nice bullish pop, I would definitely want to see 134 hold as support. I would be happier, obviously, if it held where it is testing right now. And it is possible. You bounced from the 21 right here. It wasn't a big bounce, but it did bounce. Does it have options? It doesn't have weeklies. Spreads are wide. Very thin liquidity. I wouldn't trade the option. Yeah, it could be a longer term buy and hold. I like the longer term buy and holds to be testing larger levels of support. Unless I'm just looking at it for like a 3 or 4 week trade, I can buy 21 retests. But the chart long term does look really good. They also pay a dividend. A nice dividend. Yeah, it's not bad. I agree. What's on the hot list today? What the penny stocks? What are they doing today? We look at volume gainers. We got XOS up 100, SLE up 62, PFSA. Look at this one down here, 244. Holy gizzoli. This thing, no news on it pre-market. Or was there? Yeah, slightly. This thing has zero liquidity in it. Yeah, this isn't something I would trade. You get stuck in this thing. What's PFSA? A nice liquidity here. It looks like they got it right off the bell, right? Ding, ding, ding. And then bam, big move up to $16 almost. From 9.16. That's coming off of a split yesterday. That's why it's got it. This is just ugh. Definitely not something that's going to have much legs, is it? Sellers are selling it right at 14.67. I don't like shorting these things either because you get ran over. That looks to be a pre-market rip. This company's going out of business. So they split the stock. Last time they did it, they didn't really get the pop they were looking to. They got it this time. Be careful. It's got some volume and volatility in it this morning, but I imagine the sellers are going to be all over it. To be fair, longs are defending 1161. Trying to. That's a dollar pop, so I wouldn't want to see it closing any candles back under 1180 if I was thinking about taking a position on it. Let's see what it looks like on the active trader. PFSA. First off, is there any news on it? That's on OC. No news. Yeah, this volume came in for the split. Though the split popped it, and then Momo traders jumped on it. That's it. This is a pure momentum play without a bullish catalyst. I would definitely be a seller on this. Hard to borrow. That also means expensive. That's if you can get them. I mean, it's active. There's lots of people trading it. You see that 70,000 volume there at 1326. You have 70,000 there. You got 75,000 at 1310, where it's at right now. It got there, and you see what kind of a candle just occurred. 106,000 was traded at 1250. So there is big trading happening inside of this. It's super violent. It's super volatile. If that's your jive. This thing's moving. You don't want to see it 1222 close. You want to see the buyers defend 1220s. Not seeing a lot of action here, so a lot of this is being hidden. $250 popped up, $250 popped up. Popped up again, 300, 1260s. So they're trying to average in, maybe. Very thin. Be careful if you trade something like this. Very thin. 320 on, 1260 again. Well, they're filled. Oh. Watching 1260. They're coming down 1258. Yeah, I'm not gonna get involved in this. I'm not gonna blow the account. I just wanted to see if there were if there was a lot of trading happening, and there isn't. Not really. A lot of it's being hidden. It's a mover though. Yes, finally broke down and finally made a fresh day low. So it is trending lower, but it's very choppy. Silver getting nuked. Wait, what? Gold was down today. Yeah. Gold took out yesterday's. You got a bearish engulfing on gold. That's what we said would probably happen tomorrow. Yesterday. Got to close above resistance. That's a perfect bull trap. An absolute perfect bull trap. Is it getting nuked? I mean, it's down. Maybe silver's worse. Yeah, silver's down 3. So silver is getting beat up pretty bad. It's a pullback. Yeah, it's like I said, you guys got to be careful buying highs. If you're buying, you want to buy prior lows, not highs. Okay? Buy prior lows, not highs. You got to wait for the continuation to show itself. Boom. Right here, you buy the low. Didn't get there yet, you be patient. There is your buying opportunity. Probably got stopped out. But if you didn't, you're good now. And then yesterday you would have been up nicely. You don't want to buy highs, prior highs, ever. That's where the sellers are. They got it today. You're probably coming back to 62.92. Oh, maybe not. So right here is where I would want to see buyers show up if this is real. If this bullish pop is real. I would wait for the liquidation, but sometimes waiting for the liquidation will screw you. I was waiting for the liquidation on USDJPY and it never happened, and then I got left in the freaking dust. I'll show you what I mean by that. So when I got stopped out, I was trying to buy here. This day, I got stopped out. So then I decided to wait for the liquidation here, and then I was going to buy there. I had a limit buy set at that price. And then look at this bitch. It trades all the way down, gets right to my buy order, and turns around. And then slowly spent the rest of the day grinding back freaking up. And now here I am sitting on my hands, no fill, and we're at fresh highs. Right idea, bad execution on my part. I should have jumped on it, but it would have been aggressive as you had a lot of downside momentum that day. Same thing is happening right now on silver. You had a lot of downside momentum, a lot of downside scary pressure. Scary to be a buyer when you got a big ass candle like that. I get it. What's the silver ETF? I've never traded it ever. SLV, right? Trade. We want to trade SLV. Yes, we do. Why? We want to sell puts. Let's go pull up SLV, see if it's doing the same thing. It is. Yes. 5750s. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to sell 3 contracts, 5750s. Because I think it's going to bounce here by Friday. That's last week's low. See if I can get filled. Thank you for telling me that was happening right now. Good call. That's a 50-week EMA retest at a prior week's low. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Let's pull up the deltas. Deltas are aggressive. The sellers are aggressive today. Let's send that off again. The spreads are super tight. They probably won't fill that. They would fill this though. I bet I get an insta fill. Boom. I told you, man, the market makers are greedy. They want all the pennies. All the pennies. Yeah, we want to buy that. That's fine, right? Max loss is $400. I think in 3 days it's probably back up above this. If the buyers are really aggressive. If they aren't really aggressive, we're gonna eat a loss. All right. If the buyers are aggressive on gold and silver, we'll be fine. We'll make some money on this trade. If they aren't, we're going to get ran over. So make sure you can afford to lose $400. If you can't, don't do that. But we can also do this. Put it up top. We can pull up silver. XAGZ. We can be a little bit more patient here on this one. We got a ways to go down there. So I want to buy 6309. Let's see if we can get filled on 150 contracts. It's 6309. That's last week's low. You've got 20 minutes until this 4-hour candle closes. So you might be able to use that as a price to mitigate risk here. I mean, it's a lot of volatility. It's a lot of momentum. I get it. It's a scary place to buy. Chances are, because there is this much momentum, today wouldn't be the best time to try to get involved on this, because the bears got the breakdown that they were looking for. There might be enough continuation today that it continues to make fresh day lows all day long. So today might not be the best day to put this trade on, depending on how good you are at managing risk, right? If you're the kind of person that has a high propensity to continue to send off buy orders when you get stopped out, you send it again, get stopped out, then I would wait for sure until tomorrow. If you're good at managing risk, you can try to get positioned today. If you're not good at managing risk, wait a day, maybe even 2, before you start trying to get involved. Allow support to show up first. If you're not clear as to what support looks like, it's literally the close of this candle, whatever price that ends up being. You do not want to buy it if at any point in the day price is under that white line, right? Because if price is under it, objectively speaking, it isn't holding support. You want price to stay above that. If it is, support is holding. That doesn't mean it will continue to hold into the future. It just means at this point in time, it is holding. That is how we do it. You just got to be good at managing risk. You can't keep buying it every time you get stopped out. That is not the correct way to manage risk. You take 1 or 2 stops and then you give it a few hours before you try again. But it is right now taking out last week's low. So like I said, if the buyers are aggressive, then they will show up here. Now we'll just see who's more aggressive. We can look at copper first and foremost. Copper's getting killed today as well. It's not getting... Go ahead. It's not getting killed. I shouldn't have said that. Obviously, this can be very volatile. As you can see here, that was a pretty decent down day. This was also a pretty decent down day. Copper can get a lot more crazy than what it is today in terms of momentum. But it is down. This is probably having a little bit of an effect on the S&P market as well. It's a bearish engulfing on the weekly. So now sellers will continue to show up on this. Any week open retests will probably be faded. That's if you even get up there. Let me look at this real quick. Yeah. It's the first real pullback that you've had in several weeks. Here was a pullback, right? Where a pullback is, for me, is always defined as retesting a prior week low or a prior day low, right? So this week you opened and you pulled back into the prior week's low. That would constitute a pullback. And you can see how aggressive the buyers were there. Right? So there you set that weekly low, then you traded sideways for many days, and then boom, big ass candle to the downside, scary candle. Oh my damn it, I did it again. And then it pulls up Bitcoin. Like, what? I hit the wrong thing. It didn't even save it. Shit. I think it was just right there, right? Let's see. Yeah, perfect. Start new. So it would have been a scary buy. No doubt. Would have been super freaked out. That's a lot of bearish momentum. Retail trader looks at that and says, oh shit, this thing's going to zero. You know what I mean? But the buyers were aggressive. Notice how those wicks are lower wick. So if you are trying to buy silver today, keep that in mind. Lower wick, bullish engulfing. Boom. That's a buy signal. Now where? That depends on where price pulls back to from that point. But someone like me, we're buying that price. We don't give a shit. We're just going to mitigate risk from that point. And boom, your sellers are toast. Now, unfortunately, we can't ever predict when that's going to work. This is why we mitigate risk. But looking at the weekly time frame, this is the first real time that you've pulled back on this for many weeks since this week. Very shallow correction this week. Then expansion and continuation as you took out the prior high. This as an inside week. Expansion and continuation. Inside pullback. There is nothing about this chart that shows that it is bearish yet. Now the pullback was aggressive. It was very strong because you took out 2 weeks worth of prior lows. So now the near term or major support level that people are going to be focused on copper is going to be 6.45. They will be watching higher time frame candle closes in and around this price to mitigate risk. Now, I did a live, or not a live stream, but I uploaded a video Saturday. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It goes in depth of watching this chart. Watch this chart. Go watch that video, and I talk about it pretty in depth. This is important because of a couple reasons. There's a massive supply shock in copper right now. You have backwardation, or you did last week. I haven't looked at the futures data yet this week, but last week you had backwardation. So if this ends up being a longer sell-off or a broader, more violent sell-off. That could have ramifications in the risk markets. But if this gets bought, then it won't. Then it won't, right? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, metals markets are pulling back today. That's good. We need that to happen so we can get involved. You can't be a buyer unless you get a pullback. And hypothetically speaking, XAG has not even pulled back far enough yet. It has taken out the 3-day low. So I might have got a little bit too aggressive with that options position that I put on. You've only taken out a 3-day low. You haven't taken out the prior week's low yet. So the prior week's low is setting at 62.99. So you might want to wait until that happens. If it happens, it may not happen. This may be good enough. The bulls may step up here. Another chart to watch for the metals play specifically is the DXY. Occasionally, they trade inversely to one another. Not always, but occasionally. Let's see if there is a high inverse relationship right now. We can look at it via an indicator, correlation coefficient. We don't want CBD. Yeah. Right now there is a strong inverse relationship to the DXY, the dollar index. So as long as there's a strong inverse relationship, it's not super strong. It's not as strong as it was back here. Back here, you had almost a 90 read. You did have a 90 read. So back here, that was much stronger. But it is still strong. It is still strong. So if the DXY starts breaking out and putting in higher highs, then you don't want to be a buyer. But what about here? What about this? Yeah. As long as the DXY stays under 99.66, I want to be a bull here at prior pullback levels. Oh, a 3-day low might be aggressive. We'll see. The weekly low has not been retested yet. You've just pulled back to the prior week's open, which is also, my Discord members will tell you, is also sometimes a fantastic level to look for opportunities. It's just got a lot of momentum right now, so it does look spooky and scary. Mitigate risk. All right, brother, you got to check comments more regularly. It takes you 40 minutes. What are you thinking about silver? Yeah, I get it. I agree. Can you check out ENRD? ENRIDE? I did that wrong. ENRD. It's in a downtrend. Yeah, I wouldn't buy this. It's under $10, so there's no point in looking for options. I wouldn't buy it, but Yeah, I mean that's just it. That there's nothing here that I like. Maybe, I mean, you're seeing a very near-term pop in price. That's all I can say about it. The sellers have come in here aggressively today and knocked it right back down. It's a fairly new asset, so it looks like you when you had your IPO, everybody sold. Like everybody that was involved before, pre-IPO, those people sold. And they're selling the pops. You got a multi-day run to the upside here. That they hit it right back down. Then they stopped. You're getting a multi-day pop again, and then they hit it again. So wait for that to end. And the only way you're going to know is if you get a long period of time where you're just like chopping around for several weeks at like $5 or wherever it ends up being. Then you can make the argument that most of the sell side is over with. Right now, it's still so early. This thing could end up getting down in sub $1. It just depends on how many shares they have and all that. How many backers are selling. Be careful. It's it's not super volatile, but I don't know what this company does. I've never heard of it before. Let's see. What is... It's a NASDAQ ticker symbol for Enride AB, American Depository Shares, a Swedish technology company focused on digital, electric, and autonomous road freight solutions. Okay, so road freight indicates semi-trucks and digitally electric. Maybe they're trying to build a robot semi-truck, maybe. Freight capacity as a service, end-to-end electric and autonomous freight solutions, software as a service, SaaS. Another word that's not real good right now, seeing how we're in the midst of a SaaS apocalypse. Platforms including Saga for fleet operations, OEMs, and others manage transportation, charging, and operations. They do proprietary autonomous driving tech, in-ride driver, and related infrastructure for commercial, defense, and specialized uses. It serves customers primarily in Sweden, the US, Germany, and other markets, targeting large shippers in FMCG, food, industrial, and similar sectors. The company went public via SPAC merger with Legato Merger Corp and began trading on NASDAQ June 10. As of mid-August, the stock has traded in a wide range from $4 to $34 since listing. That's very volatile, with a market cap typically in the high hundreds of millions of dollars. Very small company. Recent activity has included partnerships, earnings, and other operational updates. It's a very risky, very new company that could end up being a fabulous company if they have some sort of breakthrough in their technology. I mean, obviously you could do a deeper dive into like the company's financials and all of that stuff to see if ultimately it fits within your risk parameters. It's a very speculative play at best. If you want to, you know what I mean? Like if you wanted to throw $100 at it, see what happens, something like that, that's perfectly acceptable. But it is not something that I would spend a lot of money on. Not right now, not until they've been around a little bit longer and they start having success in terms of whatever it is they're building. and selling. I got news for you. If I'm Swift, which is one of the largest trucking companies in the US, something like this sounds very, very fantastic to me. But Swift is a multi-billion-dollar company. They're probably already building something like this in-house or invested in a company such as this that is also working on, robot semi-trucks. How many years, hypothetically, do you think it will be before the U.S. government allows an autonomous semi-truck on the road? Probably at least 5. They're right now in tryouts for autonomous cars in certain cities, in small, very small areas, I guess you could say. That they're nowhere near releasing that kind of technology nationwide. But the good news is this stock is very cheap. So I would throw very small amounts of money at it if I wanted to invest in it. Hopefully that helps. Thank you. You're welcome. Still holding PAGP from the trade last week. Let's see. PAGP. Yes, I am still holding it. Yep, it looks like we bought it based on the 50 exponential retest. We are not in an options position. We hold 100 shares of this company, and we hold that at $24.99 is our entry. So, I mean, it literally looks like we bought the 50 test. The 50 cuts right through that green candle, right through the middle of it, and right through the low of that red candle there. It looks like we got it right on the low of that candle. 4 days up. So far, so good. It's a slow moving stock, and I only own 100 shares. It's up $1. Therefore, I'm up $1. Yeah, I'm up $1. $1.30. So yeah, so far so good. It is coming into resistance naturally. Let's go look at this over here. PAGP, right? Five-year chart on this looks fantastic. I mean, that's a smooth looking trend. That's a really good looking. You can almost clone. You know what I mean? You can almost clone that trend. It's into resistance here. I mean, they've got other data. The 10-year chart looks terrible. The 5-year chart looks good. So because of that, we bought it. But it is coming into resistance. So it does make sense to potentially look to scale out if you have a bigger position. $27 is the next resistance level. We don't have any leverage on it, obviously, if we're in it on shares. But that's a really good looking. I like what I'm seeing. Hopefully it can continue to do what it's been doing for the last 5 years. Volumes look good. There's not heavy sell side pressure up there. Yeah, I mean, that's the 5-year chart. I would be concerned if there was something like this up here. There's not. Looks good. I don't see any reason why we can't see continuation, at least up to 27, maybe 26.50. Looks good. A breakout would be nice. We got plenty of room on the weekly RSI. Plenty of room on the daily RSI. Plenty of room on the daily RSI. 4 hours getting a little bit overbought. It's not overbought yet, but it's getting there. Overbought levels on this stock tend to hold pretty good. That one didn't last very long. Neither did that one, so that's good news. Look at how aggressive those buyers were, man. That's less than $1. They allowed this thing to pull back $1 and they jumped on it. That's pretty good news. So we're probably getting ready to experience a pullback. Let's hope it's only for a couple of days. I wouldn't have much more of a price target above that. That's a long-term resistance. In fact, I could arguably say that right now you're breaking out of resistance. But it's a wide range. Notice how that month and that month closed at the same price and then you got nuked. Now that was also during the pandemic. The pandemic started in February. It started at the beginning of the year. It started because we were talking about it 2 months before before it started spreading worldwide. We knew about it. It was over across the ocean, but we definitely knew about it. Yeah, it looks constructive. I like it. I'm going to continue to hold it for a little while, see what it can do. If it could break out above 27, you've got room up to 36. So big resistance here. If it can get above that, that'd be nice. But yes, to answer your question, still holding it. Right there. And Hub's looking good to me. Let's go look at it. HUBS. And then we'll wrap this up. Okay, it looks good that it's holding monthly support. I mean, it's backing up off of last month's open. So only on the very near term are you seeing a pop. It's testing the 50 on the daily, but like I said, this is only on the near term. If you would have looked at this chart at the beginning of June, it doesn't look good, right? It's in a downtrend. Okay, let's look at the 5-year data. So the 5-year open is up at $667. The stock is currently trading at $225. So a significant drawdown in the last 5 years. In the last 2 years that has happened, you are literally at year lows. Is support holding here? Objectively, yes. So far, it is. That's all you can say about this. Not in an uptrend. But so far, support is holding. Where would I be a seller? Right there. I mean, that's where I would start being a seller. They did report earnings. It was a beat, both top and bottom. even though massive gap down, but this gap down appears to have been a liquidation run as you took out the prior month's low. That's July's open right there. That was July's low. So they used the earnings to gap it down and smoke all of the July longs that had their stop pinned at July's low. And since then, it has been going up. You filled the gap and the sellers came right back. So resistance on the near term, 242. 240, sorry. 240.51. Daily support, 210.06. If you lose 210, you're going back to 185. If 210 holds, you could target 240. That's it. That's all I can say. Is this something I want to buy? Nope. Not even a little bit. Is it good for the long term? No, you're not even holding the weekly 21 yet. This is in a downtrend, my friend. It is the opposite of what I look for. But since it looks good to you, as long as you know how to mitigate risk, it looks like it is being constructive at least this month, right? This month, the month of August. So far, so good. But you're still red on the month, right? You're still red on the month. That's your monthly open. So, I mean, yeah, I think this looks like a bit of shenanigans to me. What would I do because like I'm a day trader? What would I do if I was looking for a day trade position on this? I would be bullish because you're closing days above the 21. So that's good, right? You are above the 50 as of right now. This could be a bull trap. Only time will tell. But the positioning for me would be only long. And that's only above yesterday's low. So I would be a buyer at that price or higher. So that's yesterday's low right there. Yesterday's open. You didn't even test it. So I wouldn't have even been able to get a position on it. Let me go see what the options look like on this. Like if just trading it the way that I trade, I wouldn't have even been able to get filled. They don't have options. It's hubs with a B, not hub. Ooh. BS, sorry. They've got monthlies only. They got nice premiums, but the spreads are wide. The spreads are just on the outside of what I like. I've traded 50-cent wide spreads before. It's not like I wouldn't trade it. 210, these are $10 wide strikes. 210 is yesterday's low, right? And that's where we're wrong on this. If price gets back under 210, longs are wrong. So I might be able to do something like that. I mean, you're tying up $10,000 of buying power to make $100. Not really worth it, in my opinion. Yeah, I couldn't trade this. I could trade it. I could hypothetically do like an iron condor. I could do that, and to be fair, that would greatly reduce the risk. I would do something like this. Yeah, it still holds up a lot of buying power, but at least the profitability is better. And that would be me saying, judging by this expected move and with the current IV, it's above 50, so I can't be an options buyer. I can only be a seller. Yeah, I could do this trade. 240. To be fair, I don't like 240. It's so close to resistance. I like 245 better, as that's the monthly open. It's a volatile stock, so it could definitely get there in 3 days. I mean, look at that 4-hour candle yesterday. This thing can move. That literally happened at the end of the day yesterday. Not yesterday, day before yesterday. Something happened. This is a news candle, if I've ever seen one. Yeah, something happened. I'm gonna send that trade off though. Oh, never mind. I can't even trade it. Hubs is currently set to close only. That's why. They're not letting anybody jump on shorts or long. Something's going on with it. I'd be careful if you're trading it. Be careful. Could be very, very explosive in both directions. Silver rebounding nicely. It's bouncing, right? It's just a bounce, a very small bounce. Could be right back down there in 10 minutes. Be careful. It's just a small bounce. I expect price trades here sideways for at least an hour or two. We'll know more at the end of the day and going into tomorrow. All right, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. We're going to wrap this up. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.